going to stay here.
Go ahead, Deborah.
Everybody's going to stay because we're all regulars now. There's nothing irregular about any of us. And we're going to stay here for Phil's lesson or presentation. And then we'll tell you the plan for after that.
And so a couple of little things. Deborah or Rachel, thank you so much for that video. I must confess that I demanded that my salary be doubled from 0 to 2 times 0, and she agreed. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun today. So we're starting a new curriculum. And today is week 1 of the new curriculum. So, I like to start out with some kind of images on the front page. And I tried looking for images for promoting honors, for length tricks, and for friendly distribution. And I didn't find much for promoting honors. But I did find a very friendly looking distributor. Unfortunately, I think he's in the Netherlands. And the most interesting thing was when I Googled length tricks, I found out why kids don't learn mathematics today. Because this is what came up. And if kids are being taught that the length of a giraffe is, oh, look, that giraffe is 14 feet tall. I was stunned. So anyway, I digress. Let's dive in. So we're starting the new curriculum, and what we're going to do for the first 11 weeks is stay away from the dreaded bidding. And I'll talk about that in a sec. So today we're going to talk about taking tricks in no trump, the techniques of promoting honors and long suits and friendly distribution, which I think will be pretty familiar to all of those. What we'll do after we have the presentation is we'll declare hands that are already bid. So the bidding will be shown and the coach will explain the bidding. And the idea here is if we do this for several weeks, what you'll do is you'll absorb a whole lot of comments about bidding, and it'll be good for context while we focus on declare play and defense. And I wanted to talk about why the curriculum is built this way. And the reason is that this is how people are usually taught bridge. On day 1, they get introduced to it somehow. And then as time rolls on a given day, they expend a certain amount of effort on bridge. And at the very start, all that effort is on learning the mechanics, who dealt, what order do we play the cards in, all that stuff. And pretty early, people learn some bidding. Like, oh, you have enough to make an opening bid or whatever. And then, unfortunately, what happens is they spend the rest of their lives talking about bidding. And the reason for that is it's really easy to send somebody a picture of a hand and say, oh, my gosh, what would you have bid? But what's harder to communicate and to work on is the play of the cards. And so my observation is that this is about how much effort people spend on improving their declarer play over time. And this is about how much time they spend working on their defense. And really, this line should be coincident with the x-axis, but then you couldn't see it. And so we built our curriculum to start out with card play, because card play is super fun and it's super important. Before some of you joined, I mentioned I played on Saturday, and at the end of declaring a hand where I made the bid, the opponent afterwards said, would you mind if I made a comment? And I said, that'd be great. And he told me what would have been a much better way to play the hand. And I'm like, oh my God, that's fabulous. I love it. So to me, card play is magic. So this is why the curriculum is structured this way, focusing on card play first. So what we're going to do today is focus on taking tricks in no trump. And we'll do that for a couple more weeks. And all these ideas apply in suit contracts as well after you draw trump. And you know me, I like to have a very interactive conversation with you all. I will ask, we have a really broad spectrum of people today. We have people who've just kind of graduated from the brand newbies, and we have people who've been playing, a million years in the past, or who have been coming to Planet Hool for 2.5 or 3 years. So I would ask that when I pose questions, maybe the more experienced people just kind of step back a little bit, so that I don't end up just talking with you and having some people who are less comfortable with what's going on. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're going to focus on 3 things today. What's called promoting honor cards. I won't define it here, but you will also have heard synonyms like establishing tricks or setting up tricks. And we're going to talk about length tricks. And one of the things you find in No Trump is that if you have a really long suit, eventually the defense runs out of cards in that suit. And all your little cards take tricks. And so that's also a very important way to take tricks in No Trump. And the third point is what I've heard called friendly distribution. In other words, the bad guys have 6 cards and they split 3-3, or they have 5 cards and they split 3-2. And the benefit of that is that if a suit breaks evenly that way, then the bad guys run out of cards sooner and number 2 kicks in.
Phil?
Yeah.
Can you define split or breaks?
Oh, okay. So I'm declarer and Deborah is dummy and her hand is on the table or on the screen in BBO. And we have 8 cards in a suit and the bad guys have 5. Well, the bad guys' cards might be distributed 5-0 or 4-1 or 3-2. And those are called how the suit is splitting. The suit is splitting 3-2. It is splitting 4-1. I guess I could use the word divided, but for 60 years I've been using split, so I probably won't change.
You don't
Was that
need
helpful,
to.
Deborah?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, super. And as a reminder to everybody, these presentations are only as good as the questions. So please, please, please interrupt me with questions. I forgot to move the little thing with all the faces over to my other screen, and I don't know how to do it now. So
I have a question.
Yes.
I was just wondering if you would give more importance to the long suits because they're in No Trump than if it were Trump. I mean,
Well, that's a
Yeah.
great question. One of the things we'll see later is that if you have a good long minor suit, you want to play in No Trump. But
okay.
if your Trump suit is usually long and it takes a lot of tricks, but we're going to start out focused on No Trump. And again, long suits tend to take tricks because the bad guys run out of cards. Does that answer your question?
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. So we're going to start out with promoting honor cards. And for anybody who's played some bridge or played any trick-taking games in the past, I think what we're going to talk about today is pretty familiar. So let's imagine for a moment that we're in a 3-no Trump contract by South, and let's take a look at it. So, and again, one of the complications in bridge is there's so many pieces. It's like, where do you start? And so I wanted to start with card play, but in the course of doing that, I'm going to have to talk a little bit about bidding. I'm going to have to talk a little bit about how you approach a hand. So please go with me and tell me when I'm gone too far. So it's a no Trump contract. And for those of you who've played bridge for a while, you know the best thing to do in no Trump is count winners. We'll talk about that in a few weeks. So let's count the immediate winners that we have in this hand. So why don't you take a moment, and how many tricks could you take just immediately if you wanted to?
6.
6, I'm hearing about 6. Yeah,
Yep.
6. There's an ace, king, ace, king, ace, king. So where are we going to find more tricks?
Diamond.
Diamonds. And what do we have to do in diamonds?
Get the ace out.
We have to make them play the ace. If they play the ace, then we've got 3 good tricks. So the idea is, let's make them play the ace. So we're going to win this opening lead, and then we're just going to throw a diamond out there and just keep throwing diamonds out there till they take the ace.
Phil, does it matter which diamond you start with from the top?
Oh, what a great question.
Oh, thank you, Phil.
So this will, once they take the ace, it'll promote the other diamonds to all be winners. I would actually, oh, and synonyms are establish the other diamonds or set up the diamond tricks. I would start with the 10. Why would I start with the 10?
So you don't forget.
So I don't forget. Managing memory is the hardest thing at my age. So it doesn't make any difference in the play of the hand, except that if I start with the 10 and they take the ace, when I get back in, I'm going to be looking at the queen, at the king, queen, jack. And I'm likely to remember that they're winners.
But can
if
I
I
ask you a
start with-
question? Well, why wouldn't you start with the king to make sure they play the ace and win the trick?
Well, actually, this is dummy, so they can see it.
Oh,
And so king, queen, jack, I'm not really going to fool them.
got it.
And it doesn't really matter when they take it. But what I don't want to do is be left with the queen, jack, 10 and be thinking, have I seen both the ace and the king? So this is something I do to manage my memory. Yeah, go ahead.
When you're counting your for sure tricks, why wouldn't you consider the king of diamonds?
Well, suppose I played the hand poorly. And suppose I started out by just taking ace, king, ace, king, ace, king, and then I let them in with a diamond or whatever. And then they took all the rest of the tricks in hearts and spades and clubs. I wouldn't get any diamond tricks.
I gotcha.
So we count the immediate winners and then look for what else can we do. This term is called knock out the ace or force out the ace, or I think somebody else had a different term. There's a lot of bridge synonyms for things. But are we cool with the idea on this hand?
Yep.
All right, let's change the hand just a little bit. It's only changed a little bit. We've still got the ace king and the ace king and the ace king. But what I did was I moved the queen jack or the queen 10 over here. And I actually made it so there's only 2 diamonds over here. So can we make 3 no trump on this? So let's count the winners. How many winners do we see?
6.
The same 6. Yep, absolutely. Let's look at the diamond suit. Is it any different than before?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me what's different.
Queen and 10 are in the other hand.
The queen and 10 are in the other hand. But if I play the queen and they take the ace, the queen has kind of covered the 2. So if they take the ace, now my 10 is good, covers the 3, and my king jack are good. So from a trick taking perspective, it's actually not any different, right? I've still got the king, queen, jack, 10 that I'll play on 4 different tricks. But what do I have to be careful about? I want to start by playing over to the queen. Because what's going to happen if I play the king first? I got to play the 10 under it.
Yeah.
Now, if I get smart and take the queen and the jack, oops, I'm stuck with the 2. So I want to make sure that I manage this suit a little carefully so that my queen and 10 are played on top of the 3 and 2.
And how do you get to the board?
Phil, in
Oh,
these
look at all
examples,
these aces and kings. Yes, go ahead, question.
in these examples, which is south? The top one?
Oh, the bottom one is south.
The bottom one is 3 no contract, but They
No.
only have 7 points. How did they?
Yeah,
get-
let's
oh,
not
I see.
worry about how we got there.
Okay. That's what I was confused. Okay, no problem. Thanks.
We're not talking bidding. We're just talking card play. Yeah, that would be a very unusual contract. So,
They got
actually,
They got
for,
points for it.
actually, we'll see that that might not be unusual, but so the key thing here is we've got a long diamond suit here with the king jack and a short diamond suit here. Has anybody ever heard the phrase start with the high cards from the short side?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we've heard win with the high cards from the short side.
First,
Ah, yes. Well, I'd like to turn
First.
this queen 10 into the ace queen, but that's not what the good Lord dealt me. So I think a better verb than win is start. It's more general, but it's the same idea. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We want to play the queen and the 10 first on top of the 3 and 2, so they don't collide with these guys. So I think of this as getting the queen and the 10 out of the way. That's just, we all think differently. That's what happens in my head. I think let's start with the queen and 10, get them out of the way. Later, I can get back over here to the ace and the king, and I can take these guys. So it was really the same as the previous hand, just looked a little different. And we had to be a little bit more careful about how we played the cards.
Phil, so I have a question. So would you do
Yeah.
that as quickly as you can at the beginning, like after you take the queen of spades with the king, would you
Yeah.
start doing that?
I would.
Oh, you still got stoppers?
Yeah, I would. I want to do it while I still have all the other suits stopped.
Okay.
The key to success in no trump and a lot of suit contracts is give the bad guys a trick early
Hmm,
so that
Right.
you can take more tricks later.
Gotcha.
If I took the ace, king of spades and then started diamonds, they might take a handful of spades and
Right.
I'd be unhappy. And the nice gentleman next to me would ask if I wanted to comment. Let's change that first hand. This is actually the same as the first hand, except I changed, it's not the king, queen, jack 10 anymore. It's the queen, jack 10, 9.
Hmm.
So now I'm missing both the ace and the king.
Is it still a 3 no trump call?
We ain't gonna make 3 no's, so I didn't put the contract on there.
Oh,
But let's talk about it anyway. We've got the same 6 winners, right? And I'm greedy, right? I could take those 6 tricks and give up, but I don't like to do that. I like to take as many tricks as I can. Where else can I get tricks?
diamonds.
Diamonds. How am I going to do that?
Take your losses first.
Take your losses first. Make them take the ace, make them take the king, and then I've got 2 tricks. So let's take a look at the diamond suit. If they played both the ace and the king, then I've got 2 good tricks.
Well, how can you make them do that though?
Ah, that's a great question. I will make a donation to their favorite. No, just kidding. So how do I make them play the ace and the king? Well, I'm going to win this first trick, and I'm going to immediately lead the queen of diamonds.
Mhm.
And it's up to them. They can let me keep it, or they can take it. And if they let me keep it, I'm going to play the jack of diamonds.
Mhm.
And they can let me keep it, or they can let me take it, or they can take it. So what's going to happen is if I immediately lead the queen of diamonds, eventually, in fact, probably right away, they're going to take the king or the ace, and then they're going to lead something back to me. I'm going to be able to take it in another suit. And now I'm going to lead the jack of diamonds, and they're going to play the king. And
Mhm.
that's going to promote the last 2 diamonds to be winners.
Phil, couldn't you just leave the 10 and the 9 so you can remember?
Personally, I'd start with the 9 and then the 10.
Yeah, okay, because I have a hard time remembering too, so.
Yeah, and so that when I get back in, I'll be looking at the queen jack and I'm not going to worry, are they winners?
And
You-
either way, you'll be down one.
Yeah, that's why I took the 3 no away. We're going to play this one in 1 no. How's that? Making 2.
Oh, I love
Um, it's interesting. There's all these kind of rules and rubrics. They're really guidance. And the guidance is, if your partner leads a suit and you've got a string like this, you play the lowest one. And then people say, oh, but that doesn't apply to declarer. Well, when I'm looking at dummy, let's imagine that this is dummy up here. When I'm looking at dummy and I have a string like this, I'm always playing the lowest one because it reduces my mental burden.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad others think that way as well.
Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah. If I start the diamond suit, I'm going to play the 9 first. This is dummy. And the reason I'm going to play the 9 first is that if they take the king and then I play the 10 and they take the ace, I'm pretty likely to remember that my queen jack are now good. But if I start with the queen and they take the king and I start with the jack and they take the ace, I'm going to look at the 10-9 and I'm going to wonder, God, did I really see the ace, king, queen, jack? So I just try to make it easy on myself. I play lower when they're touching in dummy. I play the low one so that I don't have to remember later. So it's just me. And I convinced my wife to do it.
Her name's Dana.
I convinced my lovely, talented, wonderful wife, Dana.
Smart.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question on the previous hand there.
Yes, sir.
What happens? Okay, they lead the queen of spades and you take it with the king and you play a diamond trick, you lose it, and they play another spade and you take it with the ace. Now you play your third diamond, you lose your second diamond to set up. They get in and then they with their final diamond, and then they start running spades on you.
They're probably going to take some spades.
Yeah.
And, that's just how life is.
Yeah.
But let's imagine for a minute, we're looking at 6 spades. So they have 7. So 5-2 is a pretty bad worst case, right? I mean, it's not the worst case, but it's pretty bad. 4-3 would be nice. But if it's 5-2, okay, I win the king, I knock out the 1 diamond. They play another spade, I knock out the other diamond. Now they have 3 good spades.
Yeah.
And they take 1, and on the second one, I throw a little heart that I was never going to win. And on the third one, I throw a little club that I was never going to win. And so it's probably not so bad. I mean, if the spades are 7-0 and they're going to run 5 more spade tricks, then I'm in trouble.
Mhm.
Does that make
Thank you.
sense?
Yes,
Is that
thank
helpful?
you. Yes.
Yeah. And this is a hand that with the old regulars in the last go round of the curriculum we looked at, that is just super fun. And the suggestion is be very patient sometimes. So we're playing 3 no by South. It's no trump, so we count our winners. We got the ace, king of spades, ace, king, queen of hearts, ace, king, queen of clubs. So we have 3, 6, we have 8 immediate winners. Where might we,
Can
does
everybody see that?
that make sense?
What about the jack? Wouldn't you count the jack as a winner?
No, you can't win 4 tricks with 3 cards.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love that question. You can tell I love a question when my next bubble comes up and answers it.
Ah. Right.
Yeah, we only have 3 clubs, in each hand, so we can only take 3 club tricks. There's actually a term for this. It's called duplication of values.
Yeah.
We have 10 high card points in clubs and it's worth 3 lousy tricks. If we had the ace, king, queen, jack of diamonds next to each other, that'd be 4 tricks. So anyway, so we have 8 winners. where can we find trick number 9?
Still gotta be those diamonds.
Diamonds. Huh?
Gotta be those diamonds. Gotta be those diamonds. So we have 8. So they have 5. And it happens to be the ace, king, queen, jack, 10. But suppose the diamonds break 3-2 or split 3-2. Then the ace, king, queen, jack, 10, they're all going to like fall on top of each other. Right?
Mhm.
So if the diamonds are 3-2, then they're going to run out. And our last little diamond is going to be good.
If you have the lead.
If we can get back in. Yep. Yep, absolutely. So let's see what happens. We'd win the opening lead. Notice I had them lead a heart. That's helpful to us. They lead a heart and we give up a diamond. Knowing we're going to lose. Whatever they lead back, we play a second diamond. Whatever they lead back, we play a third diamond. And now they've run out.
I don't follow what you were just saying. Sorry.
Sure, let's go through it a little more slowly.
Okay.
So they lead a heart and we take it.
Okay.
Okay. So they've got 5 diamonds and we're going to hope that they split 3-2.
Okay.
So let me see if I can do this. I've never done this whole markup thing. So let me try it. So
There he goes.
they lead a heart and we take it with a queen.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And now we lead a diamond
Okay.
and they take it.
Yeah.
And now maybe they play another heart and we take it with the ace.
Uh-huh.
And now we play another diamond
Uh-huh.
and they win it. And now they've spent 4 of their 5 diamonds,
All of which were honors.
all
Well,
of which were honors. And now maybe they play another heart and we take it. And now we play another diamond and they spend their very last diamond. And now we're the only ones who have diamonds left. So when they lead back to us, yeah, maybe they win a heart trick. When they lead back to us in clubs or spades, because they're going to run out of hearts.
Mm-hmm.
When they lead back to us in clubs or spades, we've got a diamond trick with this
Gotcha.
cruddy little thing. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you so much. Yeah.
You bet. You bet. So there we go. Finally, your last diamond will be good. And this does actually happen. You know, it's not just some weirdo bridge teacher thinking up a hand. It can happen. And I put this up last time we looked at this hand. I read when I was in high school, I read Stranger in a Strange Land, and the guy kept saying waiting is, which never made any sense to me as a teenager. And this hand has, after 60 years, explained it. No. Whoops, I got to erase that stuff. Let's see. Now we're above my pay grade.
Here.
Whew.
Nice
Okay.
work.
So let's pause to reflect for a moment. We looked at promoting honor cards, and the synonyms for that, which I tended to not use, were establishing and setting up. Questions about that? The idea is you give up a trick early to win more later, which might ring a bell.
Yep.
Okay. Typically make them play the ace, force out the ace, knock out the ace, or maybe you make them play the king, or in that crazy diamond situation, you make them play more. And the message here is it's okay to lose tricks early so you can take more later. People are often afraid to lose tricks as declarer, but often it's the best thing you can do. In fact, instead of okay, it's highly desirable. If you're going to win more later, it's good to give up tricks now to set up others for later. We good with that?
Yeah.
All
So
right.
you're saying that's the thing to do, and if it happens to have split 5-0 or whatever, then it's too bad, you lost it.
Too bad. You know, if it's kitchen bridge, you just say, you know, who dealt these things? And and if it's duplicate bridge, you say, gosh, it happened to everybody else as well.
Yeah.
So, great question. The next thing to think about is that length takes tricks. I mean, we kind of saw that in the 4-4 diamond hand.
Oh, yeah.
Because that fourth diamond took a trick. So let's look at this hand and imagine we're playing 3-0 by South. So we get the lead of the queen of diamonds. I'm looking at the ace of spades and the ace of hearts and the ace of clubs. What do you guys think about the diamond suit?
Wow.
Long.
Looks like you
Long.
can make all
How-
7.
How long is it?
Maybe 4.
9.
9. Yeah, 7. Yeah, it's 7 cards long, but we have 9 of them. How many do the bad guys have?
4.
So if we start with the jack and then play the ace, king, queen,
They're
do
out.
they have any left?
No.
Nope.
Are all our little ones good?
Yeah.
Yeah, length takes tricks.
Um,
I love long suits.
Oh, yes.
I love long suits. So the question is, can you make up 3-0? And the answer is 100% certain. Because you have 3 aces, you look at the diamond suit, and you've got 9 diamonds, including the top 4. They only have 4. So they're going to fall underneath your top 4. Is there anything we have to be careful about?
Not really.
Being able to get to the board.
Being able to get to the board.
Yeah.
So it's really important to
Sure.
take the jack first,
First. Mm-hmm.
because we're going to have to take this queen with the ace, and there's no other way to get to dummy.
Right.
So we have to take the jack first
Mhm.
and then lead over. Remember that high from the short side?
Yep.
This time it is win, not just start. But we'll win the ace of spades, we'll come over to the jack of diamonds, and we'll go back over to dummy and take all those beautiful diamond tricks.
Nice.
Nice. Otherwise, as somebody said, you'll be stranded. You can never reach the diamonds. And I think of getting the jack out of the way, or clearing it out of the way. That's kind of my mental model. But then I grew up in Buffalo with snow and, you know, snow plows, and that's how I think. So same hand. Let's change declarer just a little bit. Declarer doesn't have the jack anymore. Declarer has the 7.
It's unfortunate.
And we still get the lead of the queen of spades. So how's it looking?
Not as good as it did before.
Not as good as it did before, but it's still looking pretty good. Can we make 3-0 trump? We have 3 aces. Let's look at the diamond suit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many do they have?
4.
4.
You have 4 aces.
I do. Yes, I'm sorry. I have 3 aces outside of the diamond suit.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm looking at the diamond suit. If they split 4-0, I'm kind of dead, right?
Yep.
But if they split 2-2 or 3-1, then I'll lead over and take the ace, king, queen, and all of their diamonds will be gone. And then I can take my little 6, 5, 4, 3. So the 4 missing cards, they're usually going to split 3-1 or 2-2. And the term I've heard is, let's hope we get friendly distribution. And I know we have a bunch of probabilists and mathematicians and statisticians out there. And so you're dying to know that a 4-0 break only happens about 9% of the time. So usually you'll be fine. And if you're playing, if it's 4-0 in Kitchen Bridge, you blame the dealer. And if it's 4-0 in duplicate, you say it happened to everybody else. So don't worry.
Bill, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, even if they have a 4-0 split jack high, you're only gonna lose one diamond trick, as long as you can still get the lead back.
Yes, the challenge is
Do it.
I'm never going to get back over to dummy
Yeah,
because
Oh.
I've run out of diamonds,
yeah,
and these cards over here aren't going to help me get there.
right.
Great question. Great question. Yeah, if they let me take a trick with the 10 of clubs, then I could cash my other diamonds. But my opponents don't do that. Maybe yours.
And they're gonna come in.
Okay, so now I've changed the hand a little bit more. It's the same hand, but now Declarer has only one diamond.
No, let's hope we're not in 3 now.
Oh, I love being in 3-0 with this hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many diamonds do they have?
5, 8,
5.
no, 5, yeah.
They have 5. So let's hope they split 3-2.
Mhm.
If they do, we're golden. And in fact, they
Bill,
split 3-2 7 times out of 10. Yes,
this is an unbalanced hand for the declarer if they're the lower hand with just the 2 of diamonds.
that's correct.
So
Yeah.
they can do an opening bid when they have an.
No,
unbalanced-
I'm just making up the contracts.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and they
No,
might not
no.
open.
No, there is no reasonable bidding behind these contracts.
Okay.
This is
And
'cause
seriously
play-
though, if North had started, had opened with diamonds, South would have said, no, 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 give me give me something else.
Yeah, actually, it's very interesting. If South had started with, if North had started with a diamond, and again, I hate to be saying any bidding stuff.
Oh, no, they would have been.
If North started with a diamond, South would say, I've got 8 points, I have to say something. Let me tell partner I have some spades. I have at least 4 spades. South will bid a spade.
I would bid clubs.
North has a tough decision. North
It goes at
probably
2 levels.
jumps to 3 diamonds,
Mhm.
saying, I've got a good diamond suit and I've got a lot of points, there's tricks. And it's possible they'd end up in 3-0, but I digress. What happened?
Patty, in your separate room, maybe you could talk about
Yeah,
what you
we'll
just
talk
said.
about it.
That was
Yep.
a really good comment, understandable, and yeah.
So let's pause to reflect for a minute. We already talked about promoting honor cards. Long suits take tricks. And sometimes you need the cards to split evenly. The odds are they split pretty evenly. Not perfect, but pretty evenly. A couple more slides. And this is a really important concept. And gosh, you might see it in a hand today. Promotion and length often go together. So let's take a look at this hand and we're imagine we're in 3 now. So can you make 3? We got the lead of the queen of spades. Let's count our top tricks.
8.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 that we could take immediately. Where else could we find tricks?
Clubs.
In the clubs.
So clubs look really good. We have 8 and they have 5. So let's make them take the A's.
Yep.
That's the promotion thing. And then we'll get back in and have some good clubs. But look, we have so much length. We can probably even take the little ones.
Yeah.
So probably if you knock out the ace, you'll be able to take 5 tricks.
Wow.
So I think we're in good shape.
Phil, in this hand,
Yes,
do you win it with the ace or the king?
great question. What do you think?
Well, I guess I wanted to go over to the lead with the 3 or the 2.
Yeah, this is really interesting. And this is where the little guidance is about high from the short side can get trumped by
Ooh.
thinking. So if you play the ace of spades on the first one and you start the clubs, suppose they don't play the ace until the second one.
Right.
Uh-oh. I'm never getting back to dummy. So even though the general guidance is start high from the short side, you look at this and you go, wow, I may need the ace of spades to get back over there.
Right.
And
Sorry,
this
I'm
is
not
like
following.
5 or 6. This is 5 or 6 weeks out.
So there's no other way to get back to the dummy unless you leave that ace of spades out there. There's
Yeah.
nothing in diamonds, there's nothing in hearts.
Yep. So where do you win the opening lead? And the answer is in south. So you let this come around to your king,
Nice.
and then you start on clubs.
What I do is I say to myself, where might I want to end up later?
Good.
And then I leave that one there and win the other choice,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Well, and I have one more comment about that last one, Phil.
yes.
Since you had 2 clubs,
Uh-huh.
you can lose one to the ace and still have a lead over to your other winners.
Yes, that's correct. I thought I had a note on here, but I guess I blew it. It said good defenders will hold up the ace of clubs
Yeah.
until you've used up your, yeah,
Right,
I
right.
forgot to put it in.
Gotcha.
So a good defender will hold up the ace of clubs until you've run out.
So what is
Oh,
your,
it-
sorry, could you go back to that slide? What is that note, the bottom left? Do not play high from the short side if you need that card later.
Yeah, usually the guidance is, let's look at the spade suit, which is the short side.
No dummy.
North.
Yeah.
So if you just say high from the short side,
see.
you'll play the ace on the
Yeah.
first trick.
I see.
You
Okay.
actually need it for something else.
And I never would have gotten that.
Yeah. Well, the only time I learn anything about bridge is when something happens at the table and I do a Homer Simpson. I go, don't.
Oh.
And then after I do that 3 or 4 times,
Your
I
head
get,
hurts.
and for those of you who are newer, you may not have heard the famous quote by Bob Hammond, who is one of the greatest bridge players of all time. His assessment of the game is that experts play lousy and everybody else plays worse. My grandmother used to call it shoulda, woulda, coulda. And so here's a fun hand. This is almost the last slide. So here's a really fun hand.
1, 2,
Can we make 3? No.
4, 5, 6,
So how many winners do we have?
8.
8.
I count 8 winners. Ace, king, ace, king, ace, king, ace, king. Where could we find more tricks?
Only got
Diamonds. So how many diamonds do the bad guys have?
5, 3, and 2.
Yeah, 5. They're likely to go 3 and 2. What happens when I'll use my nifty little annotation thing. What happens when we take the ace and we take the king and they still have 1? So we play 1 more and they win it.
Yeah.
No way to get to the board.
No way to get to the board.
But they don't have any more diamonds, so they gotta leave one of the other suits.
Yeah,
Is it-
but we're never gonna be able to get over to dummy to cash those diamonds.
Mm.
We're gonna sit there with tears running down our cheeks,
Yes. we will.
right? So we get tears running down our cheeks. So any other ideas?
Should have held on to that ace.
Yeah, we have to lose a diamond, right? They got 5 of them and we've just got these little cruddy things and 2 good ones. We have to lose a diamond.
Huh.
Right? But if we play the ace king, they'll win the 3rd round and you can't get back to dummy. What about the idea of losing a trick early?
Yeah.
Let's lead a little tiny diamond.
Ah.
Isn't this cool? Let's lead the 2, and then they play the 8, and we play the 5. And we let them have the first trick instead of the 3rd one.
Or
Now we get back in with one of these other wonderful cards, and now we play the ace and the king, and they're all out of diamonds, and we're in dummy.
Okay.
And you know, and it's easy to look at this and say, oh God, that's just some BS hand that somebody made up, you know, because they want to be a really smart bridge teacher. I think I mentioned a week or 2 ago, my wife and I literally were playing a hand. It wasn't exactly like this, but this is basically what it was. We were on defense, and the bad guys took the first 2 tricks and then gave us the 3rd one. And they went down because they were spent the rest of the hand staring at 2 good tricks they couldn't reach. So
Gotcha.
it does happen. It actually does happen. So the idea here is if you give up, you have to lose one, lose it early. And then when you play the ace and king, you'll capture the rest of their diamonds. To me, this is what's just so freaking amazing about this game. And I wanted to offer a comment about point count. You know, a lot of you have seen guidance like, you know, well, if you have 25 or 26, you're going to make 3 no. Remember this hand? We're going to take 7 diamond tricks and 3 aces. We're going to take 10 tricks in no trump. How many high card points?
4 aces.
How many high card tricks?
How many high card points do we have?
In both hands?
Total. Yeah, we got 10 in diamonds,
6.
10 in diamonds, and 3 aces is another 12.
Only 22.
We have 22 high card points, and 3 no trump is ice cold. So the usual guidance says 25 or 26. I think we had a real life example a little while ago where there were 29 or something, and you couldn't make game in anything. So this is just guidance, but it's good guidance. And the big message here is when you have a really good minor suit like this, could we make 5 diamonds?
Probably.
No, we gotta lose a club and a heart and a spade. So we can't make game in diamonds, but we can make game in no trump.
Gotcha.
When
Interesting.
you have a good minor suit, you want to play in no trump if you can. And I love this quote. It's okay to play in 5 of a minor if you have a note from your mother. I had a running diamond suit the other day, and I forget the exact auction. I had a void, and I jumped to 3 no because I knew my partner had that suit stock. So okay, so what the heck did we do today? We promoted honor cards.
Yeah.
We took length tricks. And we looked at friendly distribution. If the suit breaks pretty evenly, the defense will run out of cards.
So
And
Phil, what does
promotion
that
and
top
length can
comment,
go together? Yes?
what does the top comment mean after you draw trump?
Oh, if you're, mostly today I was talking about no trump contracts. But if you're in a suit contract with like 4 spades, you take away the bad guy's spades.
Oh,
That's
okay.
called drawing trump or
Got it.
pulling trump or calling trump. I don't know why bridge players can't just use one verb.
Okay.
So in
Jen.
a suit contract, after you draw trump, all these tools apply. So there's homework,
Yay.
and the homework is to go to Bridgemaster on BBO.
Where the new regulars, by the way, went on Saturday. We already previewed this, Phil, without even talking together, you and I.
Great. So there are 3 good hands on level 1 that illustrate today. And A21 may look really, really familiar.
I wonder why.
And all of these presentations are available in both PDF and PowerPoint form at the hooligans.
Can I also talk about YouTube for a minute?
Yeah, please.
So when I was first starting out, I would pore over Phil's PowerPoints to try to look at how the slide would build up. But now usually every day after the Tuesday, there's this presentation is on YouTube, and you just search on YouTube for Planet Hool.